Today, I'm going to tell you the truth about the new Aston Martin Valhalla.
And what I'm about to share, you might never expect from a car of this caliber. Aston Martin have given me exclusive access to not only the car, but also the brains behind it, who are willing to share information that has never been seen before.
Of course, you may be thinking that in order to do this, I have to say good things about the car. But as you find out later on in the video, I give my honest opinion, which Aston might not be too happy about. But before we get into that, not only does this car have some questionable features, it also has a pretty wild history.
Back in 2019 at the Geneva Motor Show, the Valhalla was officially unveiled to the world, though at that time it carried the project name AMRB003. And, somewhat surprisingly, I had the privilege of co-hosting the global reveal on stage.
But 5 years later, the car is only just about to be delivered to customers. And I know what you're thinking, 5 years and the car still hasn't made it to the road yet. Why is that? Well, this car has been through more ups and downs than most cars that have ever made it to production.
When the Valhalla was announced in 2019, it had a V6 engine with supporting hybrid system with a predicted 937 brake horsepower. But in 2025, that definitely isn't the case.
The years went by, and these years were not easy for Aston. In fact, between then and now, Valhalla has seen 4 CEOs. And each of these CEOs has had their own input into what Valhalla could be. Later on, we're going to talk to the latest CEO. If you were in charge of it from day one, is there anything that you might have changed?
The story begins with Andy Palmer, formerly of Toyota, the man who first brought the Valhalla to life. Then came Tobias Moers, ex-Mercedes AMG, who arguably pushed the platform the furthest, introducing major changes that we'll explore later on. After him came Amedeo Felisa, formerly of Ferrari. He took the reins for a short but influential stint, and today it's Adrian Hallmark, former Bentley CEO, leading the brand forward. And today we'll be catching up with him shortly to hear more about the Valhalla's future.
For example, Tobias Moers, CEO number 2 during development, announced the Valhalla is the next Nürburgring King, chasing a sub-7 record lap time, something I know a little bit about. Meaning, this car was set out to be a full-blown track car. But also, during his tenure, the engine went from a V6 to a V8. Frankly, music to everyone's ears.
However, that CEO's time at Aston was short-lived, lasting just 2 years, before Amedeo, former Ferrari CEO, took over. During his 2-year tenure, he added some of his own flavor to the brand's direction, before the current CEO, Adrian Hallmark, stepped in to make the final call on the Valhalla's fate. And what did he decide? We're about to find out.
We're 1,000 horsepower, just over 800 of that, good God! Just over 800 of that is, of course, from the internal combustion engine, and the rest is made up from the hybrid system. With that much power coming from the hybrid, you might quite rightly be wondering, well, how much of that can you feel? Well, the good news is, it just feels like a massive contribution of instant torque right up your derriere.
This car was already blowing me away, but at this stage, I still had no idea what the price tag would be. Before we get into that though, let's hear from someone special to the Valhalla program who can explain exactly why it drives as well as it does.
So what really has been the biggest challenge along development journey? What are you sort of, I guess, the most proud of, really?
Yeah, so it has got such a degree of complexity, active aero that is always adapting, adaptive damping, it's got an E-diff, it's got torque vectoring on the front axle, not to mention the hybrid system, which has this combination of the ICE and the electric motors, 2 on the front, 1 on the rear. The second, from an attributes point of view, was stretching its bandwidth, so it feels like a true Aston in this sort of slightly more confined environment and on the road, fun to drive, agile, and yet we stretch the performance envelope all the way up to befit a full aero car.
The other observation, which I guess is something that probably doesn't come to mind straight away, is how well it does this part of things. Ride quality over this poorly surfaced exit of the paddock here feels good. Visibility out of the wing mirrors is great. Now obviously there's no rear window out of here, so you're looking out of a digital rear view mirror. The cool thing is, all you can see out of this digital rear view mirror is a massive wing, and it's always active. So this car's got so much active aero, and that's doing its thing based on it calculating what you're doing. Speed, brake, throttle depression, steering angle, it will adjust itself accordingly, and it does it well.
That's 600 kilograms of downforce. It keeps the Valhalla locked down into the tarmac.
Yeah, it does have a natural engine crescendo, even at 7,000 RPM, which, you know, just being honest, in this day and age, 7,000 RPM isn't the most impressive. But what is impressive is what it does and how it gets you there. Oh, that hybrid pull is so mega. Crikey!
Tyres,
Yeah.
are these specific to Valhalla?
Well, as you know,
Yeah.
we only ever do tyres bespoke to our products. So they are AML branded, developed in conjunction with the supplier, Michelin in this instance, and they are unique to Valhalla. There are two options. There's the PSS5s, which you've driven on today,
Yeah.
and they're definitely, whilst they have high lateral capacity and great grip, they are very playful, offer you a nice gentle breakaway transition into slides, etc. The option tyre is a Cup 2. Again,
Okay.
bespoke to Valhalla.
Yep.
That's quite an aggressive Cup 2, so there's a big difference in the level of performance. So
Sure.
today's activity here was very much about seeing how the car performs in a slightly more confined arena. When we take it to the next level, hopefully present it to the world on Formula One track, then you'll get this combination of the very grippy tyres, the full aero, and you'll notice how all the systems work to give you that extra level of support and precision
Right.
for the very high speed.
As always, Michelin delivers flawlessly, even for the craziness of the Valhalla. But what truly stands out for me is the transmission. It might just be one of my favourite features of this car.
Any long-term subscribers of the channel, crikey, will know that I'm somewhat of a gearbox snob, and I've always been a fan of the twin clutch. It's always been my preference anyway when it comes to a supercar. This is no exception. I mean, the calibration is razor sharp. The best indicator for me is on the way down the box under heavy braking. There's just no lag. It's synaptically connected to your gear actuation intentions. So here we have it. A mid-rear engined Aston Martin with a twin clutch gearbox. I can't tell you how long I've been waiting to say that. Ergonomically, the seating position is so unique. I mean, you're cocooned in it, and the amount of lateral support you've got as a result of your body position is really nice. No doubt you might be able to customize the padding on it to suit your size a little more specifically. But it's quite a unique package of high performance ergonomics with, dare I say it, almost daily driver practicality from a visibility and accessibility and usability point of view. There is one thing, however, there's absolutely no storage space.
Every great road trip needs at least a bit of storage, but in the Valhalla, there is a pretty good reason why they sacrificed it.
What's it been like dealing with thermal management? I mean, it's well packed in there and a hot V.
Yeah, those sorts of countermeasures help very much.
Yeah.
There's a flow into the inlet scoop. There's to be 3 inlets. One is for the charge air coolers, one is for the air intake itself, and one blows cool air through that hot V and exits through the feature we just talked about.
Right. That is a serious intake. And then in terms of active aero, there's the obvious stuff which you can see,
Yep.
but at the front, hidden
Yes,
away,
yes.
you also have a front active
Yeah.
sort of
So clearly
wing.
the aesthetics important for us at
Yeah.
Aston. And in the modes of EV and Sport, the aero is completely stowed and invisible. You're getting a nice sleek aesthetic. As you suggest, around the front of the car, whilst that is clearly most visible, we have an equally powerful feature. There is essentially something similar to a Formula car wing hidden in the front cowl. So you have 2 elements on each side, and you have a gurney strip in the middle. And so when the race mode is activated, the wing deploys, you get the extra downforce, more air is directed through the coolers, appropriate for track mode. And that gurney releases, goes flush and allows the air to flow into the underfloor features. It's got underfloor vanes to help with the downforce. And all that stuff is continually active in race mode as you're driving around. We fine-tuned it in conjunction with the damping to modulate and adapt at every stage of the corner and throttle application, etc.
So it's not just like a sort of 1 or 2
Absolutely
stage, it's
not.
constantly
It's very, very much.
monitored.
However, all this performance comes at a surprising cost. And later on, we're going to find out just how much a well-specced Valhalla really is.
It definitely feels like it's designed more for precision than it is for drifting, but when it does let go, it's not the end of the world. The other thing is, you probably haven't heard this car from the outside yet, but it's a little bit underwhelming from the outside. Super cool thing.
But there's one thing we don't know yet, and that's the price. If the car turns out to be good value, then maybe these smaller things can be excused. So earlier on, I came here to Aston HQ to actually spec a Valhalla and to find out what the actual price is. Hopefully it's something I can afford, because after that drive, it is definitely a car I'm interested in.
Speccing the Valhalla was an incredible experience. Every option more exciting than the last. But it didn't take long before things got serious, and we found ourselves crossing over the £1 million mark.
1.1 million is a massive amount of money, especially as in 2025 you can get a lot of car for a similar amount. So, for a similar price to a well-specced Valhalla, you could get a Porsche Carrera GT, perhaps a McLaren P1, or even a Porsche 918 Spider. All legendary cars and all going up or at least holding value. And that's something that I think people, when parting with hypercar levels of cash, think about. And at just shy of 1,000 units, do you think Valhalla will hold its money? So, as impressive as the Valhalla is, it's not without its compromises. First off, storage, or complete lack of. There is literally zero storage in this car. So, if you're thinking of taking on a road trip or a weekend getaway, you're either taking a completely different car, or you'll need to be joined by a support car. And while it makes sense from an engineering and performance standpoint, it does detract from the car's usability on the road. Then there's the sound. Now this is a bit of a sensitive one because we all expect something truly dramatic from a supercar, but due to modern noise and emissions regulations, the Valhalla's exhaust note has been somewhat subdued. It doesn't have that raw mechanical scream that you'd hope for from something that looks this aggressive. And it doesn't help that it only revs to just over 7,000 RPM. And finally, the character. This car has been compared to being a more usable Valkyrie, but the Valkyrie is next level theatrical. Obviously, the Valhalla feels more tamed. That's good and bad. Good in that it's really easy to live with and drive. Bad in that it lacks theatre unless you're really on it. And when you're really on it in Valhalla, its operating window of performance is so high, I'm not sure you'd actually be able to access that theatre at road legal speeds. So, after my test drive and finding out the price of Valhalla, I had a few questions that need an answering. And who better than the man himself, Adrian Hallmark, CEO of Aston Martin. So in a strange way, you and I are approaching this car from opposite ends. So I'm not sure if you know this, but in 2019, I was very kindly asked to co-host the announcement of this car when it was still in its sort of concept form.
Please welcome motoring expert and blogger, Mr. JWW.
Back then, it was announced to be a V6, and we're now here, and thankfully, it's a V8. You're sort of receiving a huge amount of platform growth since then.
Yeah.
What's that been like?
So I think the first thing is almost a bit of a historic one.
Yeah.
It's almost reverse of the Jaguar J220 story, isn't it?
Sure.
It was
It is,
supposed
yeah.
to be a V8, but it
Yeah.
turned up with a V6.
Yeah.
So we did it the other way around. The first thing I would say, one of my favourite statistics, is the 6.5 shared parts to any other car that we've ever built. Should I tell you what the 6.5 parts are?
God.
4 air vents,
Right, okay.
2 screens, and half the steering wheel, the top part of it.
That's it.
First of all, this is, without question, a ground up, first principle engineering project. Nothing on this car has been developed for anybody else before. It's all ours. So from the carbon tub, front suspension, inboard, front motor, it's unique.
Yep.
Highly technical. Gearbox, DCT with a built-in e-motor.
I can't tell you how long I've been waiting to say a mid-rear engine Aston with a twin clutch box.
Yeah, me too.
Here it is.
And it's not easy to say,
It's not
either.
easy to say, no.
Had we known how much the competition were going to price their equivalent cars at when
Right.
it was first, when
Yes.
you first announced it,
Absolutely.
it would probably be double this price. But no, I'm delighted. It's a real brand standard for the company. And following Valkyrie, which is probably the most technical car in the world, was at the time, maybe still is.
Yep.
This is a great follow-up. It's only our second mid-engine car, and look at it.
So your predecessor Tobias made a really interesting statement, which certainly caught my attention, which was that it might be going for some Nürburgring laps.
Yeah.
Is there still an intention that this is still a track bias road car?
Yes, but the interesting thing is, you've driven it. The car performs like the best track car in the world. So absolutely, we'll go to the Nürburgring. But when you're not at the Nürburgring and you're in normal mode,
Yep.
its behaviour is just incredible. It doesn't make you feel like you have to be an expert. It doesn't scare you rigid, but the speed and the forces you can generate and still feel totally safe is just incredible.
If you were in charge of it from day one, is there anything that you might have changed?
I think, I mean, I love the design.
Yeah, I mean,
But
it's aesthetically stunning.
But
Yeah.
I'll phrase it a different way. I think it could be even bolder.
Right.
And I think in the life of even the first batch of cars, we're going to probably do some personalisation options
Right.
that allow us to take it to an even another level. But no, I think from it technologically speaking, there's nothing better. But I think from a consumer point of view, I'd like to make it more expressive in a negative way, but we can do things that would entertain the customer even more, I think. So
Right.
watch this space.
Okay. Thank you so much.
My spec came in at a staggering 1.1 million price tag, and that's not even going particularly crazy on options. As mentioned earlier, there are some other seriously attractive cars in that price bracket, cars that will likely hold or even increase in value. But does that really detract from Valhalla?
So the question is, would I buy a Valhalla if I had just over £1 million? Well, the truth is, 100% yes. The way this thing drove blew me away. And sure, there's no luggage space, but being this good, I just drive it on my own. Me, the car, and my passenger seat full of luggage. And this is exactly what Aston promised the day they launched it. And they have made one of the best driver's cars of the modern era.